What is up, everybody? You know, I always start these shows off by showing love to those companies that help make this podcast possible. First is my friends over at House Call Pro. If you were out there looking, first of all, hopefully nobody's out there still using pen and paper in 2025. I really hope not, but sadly, I know there's some schmuck out there doing pen and paper, and I hope it's not one of you listening. But if it is, hey, I got the solution for you. If you want something that is simple, easy, so easy to use. You can do it for your invoicing, manage your jobs, grow your revenue, get paid, run your business like a professional. Okay? Get out of the JUCO league. Let's get into the professionals using House Call Pro. I have used House Call Pro for many, many years. I will never lie to you guys. I am not currently using House Call Pro, the company I am, because they were already using something when I got there. But I have used House Call Pro for probably 8 years or so, and I love House Call Pro. I really, really do. The ease of use is phenomenal. I cannot recommend, especially somebody starting out in a business, if you are like $5 million or less in revenue, I think House Call Pro is the best bang for your buck, and the simplicity of it. It has a pipeline that is absolutely amazing. It has AI built into it that you can drop things into the bucket and it automatically goes from there. It is so, so easy to use. All right. So grow your revenues, keeping track of your reviews. It automatically sends a review link after one of your technicians hits finish on the job. Manage all of your jobs. Get paid easy. You can link this with your QuickBooks, link it to your bank account so you get paid and bam, you know exactly how much money you are collecting and you can run your business like a freaking pro. All right. It's a very easy, simple software. You have the dashboard to be able to tell you all your open estimates, your open invoices, unscheduled jobs, unscheduled visits, average job size, revenue earned, jobs completed. You can keep track while you're running your business on a daily basis. You know how much money you are making. All right. Because you have to inspect what you expect. All right. Too many people want to run their business and then check the bank account at the end of the week. No. You check that on a daily basis so you know exactly how much revenue, how much money, how much cash flow that you have is going through the business on a daily basis. All right. I cannot tell you how many times I check the bank because I want to know what's in there. I want to know that we're making money. I want to know that these things are getting deposited, the money's being collected. You don't want to be chasing all these customers down for, $200, $150. But you start doing that all the time, it adds up. All right. So anybody out there looking for a CRM, you're looking to upgrade, you don't like the current one you're using, go check out my friends over at House Call Pro. You can use the link down in the show notes, down in the description. If you're listening to audio, watching the video, it is going to be in the description below. But you're going to go to www.housecallpro.com/HVAC Uncensored. They are going to give you a 14-day free trial, and then they're going to give you 50% off of your first 2 months. So go check out my friends over at House Call Pro. Next, let me change your socks. Guys, even Rookie came around on these, okay? Rookie was in here. I'm not spending that kind of money on socks. Well, guess who wears these socks now? Oh, yes, Mr. HVAC Rookie. Guys, these are some badass socks. That's all I'm going to say. I never thought that I would ever have a sponsor that is a sock company, but here we are, okay? Shit happens. These socks are amazing. Any of you out there, especially this time of year, yes, wear comfortable boots. You should. You're on your feet all day, eliminate the back pain, all that kind of stuff. You should have comfortable boots, but you should also have comfortable socks inside of those boots. They're comfortable on your feet. They keep your feet cool and they're not smelling funky when you take them out of those boots when you get home. You guys know how it is. It's 100-degree days that you're out there. You're in attics. You're in tight places. You're sweating. You wear normal socks and you take your foot out of your boot and it smells like something died. And there's just no way around it. You got that fungi toe now looking at you, going cockeyed. It's kind of green. You know what I mean? You're trying to snuggle up to your lady and she's like, "What's that smell?" And you're like, "Oh, it's my feet." Yeah, let's not have that happen anymore, guys. I'm trying to help you guys get a little bit more like snuggle time with the lady or ladies with your guy. Well, whatever it is, I'm telling you. That's how important the socks are, okay? So go check out my friends over at Camel City Mill with their socks. Guys, use the discount code Uncensored10 and save 10% on your order. And to be honest, because you know that I'm always honest with you guys, really, they have a 20% off deal right now. So go use the 20% off deal on your first order. Do not use my discount code because I'd rather see you guys get 20% off than 10%. So get the 20% off. And then if you go back and buy more, then use the uncensored 10 to save 10% on your next order. All right. See, who loves you more than me? All right. I'm willing to tell you, just so you save more money, I'm willing to tell you to use a different code, not mine, so that you guys can get some of these socks. All right. Let me change your socks. Go check out Campbell City Mill Socks and let's get on with this damn show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States. And thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Welcome to the #1 rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr. Here we are live. It's Saturday night. Yes, it's Saturday night again. I'm actually liking the Saturday nights. I'm not sure if I'm going to change this. We'll see. But anyway, thank all of you for being here. Let me get some of these things off the screen, move some shizite around. That is not what I meant to do. There we go. As you guys see, one of my daughters is behind me. Miss Riley is here. Go ahead and wave in the camera, Ry. She's a moderator, so be careful. She was like, I'm your daughter. I should be a moderator. I'm like, fine, you can be a moderator. But if you start kicking people out of my chat, then we're going to have a problem. So be careful. It's a woman with power, okay? Just joking. Anyway, man, so happy to see a bunch of you in here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Mr. Nasty, what is up, my brother? Mr. Brian Sanders, how are you? How are you? Mr. Jason Johnson, what is up, my friend? My man, Mr. Froggy, thank you for being here. Mr. Rudy, Mr. Just Work, what is up? What is up? Mr. Sammy Andrew, what is up, my brother? See, am I missing anybody? I think that is all of you. If I miss someone, I'm very, very sorry. Oh, when it says Chris Drake, it says glitching big time. I take it you're watching it on Facebook, Chris? Let me know what is glitching, my man. Is anybody else having any glitching problems? Make sure we can get them fixed before we keep going here. Anybody let me know. Please, please talk to me. Talk to me. Anyway, I hope if you do have any glitching problems and they stay up there, thank you for letting me know, Chris. Please put them down in the comments and I will try to. Okay, no glitches here. All right. So hopefully they don't happen, or maybe it could be a Facebook. Oh, it's on. So let me know if it stays, Chris, if it does, because it looks like the YouTube chat is saying no glitches. So I don't know if it's a Facebook issue, but if it stays going, please, please let me know. But I hope all of you guys are doing well, man. Staying busy. It is that time of year. It's crazy to think that we're almost all the way through June already, but that's how the summer rolls. We have been busier than all hell, man. It's a good problem to have. I am still making some very crucial hires, even this time of year. Some people that used to work for me that were unhappy that are coming over. So yeah, extremely excited, man. Building the foundation here at this company with my two amazing partners, Brian and Roy. They're extremely awesome owners. So the fact to be able to partner up with them and to do what we're doing is just we're crushing it. So yeah, really, really happy about that. So I've been busy. Obviously, you guys know with what I have going personally. So I was looking at houses all day. Going to move Finally got this badass studio and I'm going to have to leave. But like I said, it is what it is, man. I built this podcast in a corner of my basement. I can continue to build it, doing it again. I'm not really that worried about it. But if I get the house that I'm trying to get that we looked at today, it'll still be a pretty nice studio. Maybe not as nice as this. This place is pretty badass, and I have not even utilized it, to be honest with you. But it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do. Hey, Jason, you come, bro. I will pay you that in a heartbeat. I will pay you that in a heartbeat, dog. I will find a commercial division. But with that being said, man, yeah, you guys, please feel free to chime in. Remember, all the episodes where it is just me, I'm going to have the phone lines open. So if anybody wants to call in, the number will pop on the screen. It'll be up here in the corner. So whenever it is on the screen, it means the phone lines are open. And you guys are more than welcome to call in, chat with me, give me a story, talk about different topics. I checked this week. Remember, about that same number is the uncensored neglected text line, but nobody messaged me. I was trying to get a message and hear from people talking to me, and nobody said shit. But anyway, it's I know it's new, but remember that number during the week, the same number you're using to call into the show, is also the uncensored neglected text line that you can send text throughout the week, and I will read them live on the air depending on what they are. I don't know where Rookie is tonight. He might have had something to do. I know this is not the normal night that I podcast, so he might be working, man. Scott works every damn night. He works for his company, and then he also does stuff on the side himself. So he's always doing something. But the topic that I want to talk about tonight is common HVAC problems during the summertime. Obviously, I'm going to most likely talk about residential as the things that I'm going to start with. I would love to hear feedback from you guys. I know a lot of you guys do commercial, or like Jason is in the industrial side. There is Mr. Rookie. He is here. I told him you might be out working or doing something. I know this is not our regularly scheduled program on Saturday nights, but here we are. So yeah, I'm going to try to talk about some main things when it comes to residential. It's just kind of the most common, but please feel free to chime in. I would love to hear some of the more common problems that you guys have on your side, whether it is commercial, industrial, and stuff like that. Kind of those go-to. So obviously the main one that we know that happens in residential all the time is going to be the capacitor. That's probably one of the most common problems that technicians are going to run into in the summertime, which that's fine. But the problem is most techs out there need to know that the capacitor is not the only problem. You know what I mean? Don't change that capacitor and roll, because I guarantee there's an underlying issue of something that caused that capacitor to go. I see too many guys that do that. They change the capacitor, they give them that nice cheap ticket thinking they're going to make the customer happy. They change it, they leave, and the customer calls back a week later, pissed off and not happy. So first and foremost, any technicians listening to this, please be thorough in what you do. Take your time, go through the processes, check everything, then present all your findings to the customer. Let them decide what they want to do and go from there. Because even those things that they say no to is going to cover your ass. If you offer them something and they choose not to do it, that's fine. That's their choice. But if they call back and they're like, oh, Gil was just out here and, now water's leaking. And it's like, oh, well, I can see when Gil was out there, he said that you should blow out the drain because he saw some gunk in there. And it looks like you said no to that. Oh, man, damn, I did say no to that. Look, you just covered your ass. All right. So it's not about offering people things they don't need, but you should offer them everything that they do need and then let them decide. All right. I'll start with that. I will start with that. I feel like too many technicians out there, they want to keep the ticket as cheap as possible. They're thinking with their own wallet, and all they're doing is doing a disservice to that customer. All right. Let's not do that. And something that I don't know if a lot of technicians out there know is ABC, airflow before charging. Before any of you guys ever, or girls or gals, I'm sorry, for any of you technicians out there, Before you ever decide to charge a system, check airflow. Is the filter dirty? Are your coils clean? Is there a damper closed? Check all this stuff before you decide to charge a system. I mean, this is simple, basic stuff, all right? Please don't be that tech that's out there lazy, just goes outside, throws the gauges on, like, you're a little low. Let me top her off. You know what I mean? Like, just you're creating a bunch of headaches for yourself, for the customer, the company. Just please don't do that. All right. Make sure that the coils are cleaned. If the indoor coil was dirty, the outdoor coil was dirty, the blower wheel is dirty, can you really get that charge correct? No, you can't. You should offer that to the customer. And I'm also fine if it doesn't need chemicals, don't put chemicals on it. Clean it with water. Charge whatever's according for your time that your company has. If it doesn't need chemicals, don't put chemicals on it. I'm fine with that. If it's just water, then just squirt it off. But make sure that stuff is breathing. We are able to have air blowing through those coils so that we are able to have that transfer and absorption of heat that we are supposed to have. All right? Some rules of thumb that I don't know if some of you out there know that I'll try to tell you is, inside, I want to say it's like 25 to 35 degrees different than the temperature coming through the duct. So just think if you have 75-degree return air coming in and you have a 40-degree coil, 35 degrees difference. These are rule of thumbs, so don't use these as standard. But normally it's 25 to 35 degrees in that range. Then you know that you're moving decent air. Your coil is absorbing heat. Outside, it's 15 to 20 degrees higher than the ambient temperature outside. The coil temperature has to be higher than the ambient temperature outside, or we are not going to dissipate heat. Okay? Remember the laws of physics. Hot always goes to cold. All right? So we need to be higher. So let's just say it's 100 degrees outside. We should be 115, 120 degree saturation temperature inside of our condensing unit. That way we know that we're going to be able to dissipate the heat that we've absorbed from the evaporator. All right? Jason, yeah, I'm not talking about the Delta T. All right, baby. Good night. Yeah, speaking of that, to my commercial guys, I had somebody ask me um, about how to grease a bearing on a commercial unit. And he was like, I used to spray him with WD-40. And I was like, I was like, no, that's the opposite of lubrication. I'm like, that's the displacement of water. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Um, no, you need to actually grease those bearings with a grease gun until you see some grease come out. But it was funny when I heard him say that. I was like, yeah, you are destroying those things if you are spraying WD-40 on them. Let me ask this before I go down a rabbit hole. I know what a lot of you do. I know what area of expertise, or I don't want to say expertise, but the area that you work on, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial. Yes, very true, Jason, that they're not the same kind of grease. Yes, Froggy. That's what I was telling this guy when he was like, yeah, I sprayed WD-40 on there. And I was like, brother, that is not what no, like, please don't do that. That's not going to work. Um, a lot of you know, but if you don't mind, unless you're a moderator or I know you personally, put what area of the trade you are in and what you think the biggest, like the most common issue that you run into in your industry, or like not your industry, in your side of the trade, whether it be commercial, whatever it is. So you commercial guys, what is the most common thing that you see? A door left off, condenser fan motor not running, like whatever it is. And then Jason, I know you're on the industrial side. I don't know if anybody else is. What is the most common thing that you see? You shut your mouth, rookie. Don't you feel bad for Riley? She's a handful. I should get a little pity, okay? So if you have one major common issue that you run into, even refrigeration, some of you guys do refrigeration. What would be like one of the more common problems that you see technicians running into, that you run into? Um, I would say that's fairly basic. That is more of a common problem. If maybe it's not basic. I don't want to tell you what your common problem is, but I see a lot of technicians in the residential world run into common issues and don't they don't know those basics. I see somebody and earlier said it's Jason Johnson said it. It's a lack of basic knowledge, especially the fundamentals. And I know I say this all the time, but I preach this to all the technicians that I've ever trained that have ever worked for me or work with me. Is don't ever learn just enough to be dangerous and stop, because all you do is handicap yourself. You have got to constantly keep learning. 25 years in the trade, I love learning new stuff. I love teaching people because it makes me better at it, but I love to learn new stuff. I love it. You have to constantly be learning. I always tell the guys that work for me, hey, if you ask me a question and I don't know, then fuck it. We'll learn it together. It's not about an ego, like, oh, I'm the boss, I'm supposed to know. Who gives a shit? Oh, I guess you win $1. I don't know what you mean by a Zerg fitting. I'm sorry, rookie. You got me, man. No, you're right when it comes to the refrigeration cycle as well, which is why when I teach it to people, like I get it when they know that normal little chart, they do it like a baseball field, and people remember that, but I want them to truly understand it. Um, so that when they're charging a system and they look at the numbers, that's part of the problem with digital gauges today, which I do think you should have them. The accuracy is good. I like people using digital gauges, especially when they call me and they have an issue. I need to have all the information. I need to understand what your suction pressure is, your head pressure, your saturation temperatures, your superheat, your subcooling, the ambient temperature, the temperature in the house. Like I need all this information to be able to help guide them, because you can't give me one little chunk of the problem. I still see too many technicians going to check out AC systems and they're only going off of pressures. I got news for you guys. You can get mad at me, but if you get it right, which I doubt you did, it's lucky. You cannot tell what's going on with an HVAC system by looking at pressures only. And that's the truth. You cannot. And I always use the example when I talk to any of the guys that work for me or the training is I had a system, a 410A system, air conditioner, that pressures look fine. I had like a 134 suction and like a 370 head pressure. If you looked at pressures alone, you would have thought it was fine. Well, guess what? I took 6 pounds of refrigerant out of that thing and my pressures never changed. My superheat and subcooling did. My saturation temperatures, adjusted a little bit. That thing was cooling so much better. But if somebody would have put on old analog gauges and would have been too lazy to check the superheat and subcooling, they would have never known. They would have been like, oh, this system's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. And it would have been some rabbit hole callback that somebody else would have had to find. You cannot go by pressures alone. You cannot. Yes, do not be a lazy tech. Don't be a lazy tech. And a lot of times when you get lazy, you don't realize that you actually end up doing more work by trying to be lazy than if you would have just done it the correct way the first time. Exactly. Anybody listen to the audio, Mr. Jason Johnson says, stop thinking in pressure, start thinking in temps. It makes it a lot easier. Every pressure has an equivalent temperature. That's why we have PT charts, pressure temperature charts. I used to promote a lot of times guys doing maintenances. I wouldn't even have them put their gauges on. I would just have them take the temperature of the line, convert that to the correlated pressure. And if it was close enough, I would let it go. Especially older systems. People put their gauges on, the fucking Schrader core leaks. Now you're trying to take it off and refrigerant's blowing out. Like we see it all the time here. So a lot of times when we're doing a maintenance, I wouldn't even have them hook their actual gauges up unless something was off. And then it's no longer a maintenance, it turns into a diagnostic call. Because to me, a maintenance is done on a working system. It's to maintain the system, not to fix it or diagnose it. You know, the other thing is, as pressure increases, temperature increases. As pressure decreases, temperature decreases. Like learning some of these little, you know, tricks and rules of thumb and stuff like that is gonna really gonna help you a long way. But just remember their rules of thumb. Like so many people guess about what they do nowadays when you don't really have to guess. Like there's actually a scientific equation to a lot of the things that we do. When I see people sizing a house, the old like stand across the street and well, it's 3.5 fingers. It probably a three and a. I actually saw somebody do that. Like that's not even no bullshit. I saw a guy do that, and my jaw dropped, and I was like, "Are you shitting me?" He was like, "No, I've been doing it for years." Okay, like that. That doesn't make it okay that you've been fucking people's houses up. That's how you've been sizing their systems by your fat sausage fingers standing across the street. What the hell? It can be a little bit of both, Sam. So it's calming issues that technicians are running to in the summer, and you can bring up anyone, and we can make this a live tech support call. You can talk about a call that you had that was an issue, or whatever it is. I'm always willing to call an audible and divert this either way. I'm not even sure what you mean by that, rookie. Sam, our issues are people that refuse to show themselves. Alrighty then. I'll ask you guys this question. If you go out to a customer, say, and I know not all of you do residential, but if you go out to a residential application, customer says it's not cooling. Um, use ChatGPT. You go out to a residential customer's house, R410A system, and it's 75 psi on the suction line. Head pressures 280. It's low on refrigerant. What would be your next course of action to that customer? I'm curious to see what you guys would do. Would you just charge it up? Would you try to find the leak? Would you do a nitrogen leak search? Would you put dye or sealant in it? Would you use electronic leak detector? I'm curious to what you guys would do in that situation. So let's see your feedback. No, R410, not 22. Not 22. I'm not I'm I'm not charging up R22 systems. I'm just not. I'm not buying R22 even if I can get it. And I'm not using the drop-ins. Okay, but think about what I said. No, it's a 410A system, so it's low. You walk up to a 410A system and your suction pressure is 75 and your head pressure is like 280, meaning that we are low on refrigerant. While you guys are thinking of that, I'm glad that you brought that up, Chris Drake. Clogged drains and dirty filters. That is a huge one. Guys not checking filters. Or if they have like filter grills, not checking all of the filters. Um, Clogged drains. Technicians, I always hear them say, like when they get a call and it's like clogged condensate drain. Oh man, bitch, this is going to be easy. Those condensate drain calls end up costing the company the most fucking money. Because once you touch it, you own it. That's why I hate with a passion those gallow guns. If I'm working on like a furnace and I can see the drain going into like the sub pump like 6 feet away from me, okay. But I still don't like it then. I rather use nitrogen and then pour water down it. And I want to watch water come out wherever it terminates. Damn it, Jason. I was just saying a question. Fine. A 410A system low on refrigerant. Jesus. Just trying to give a question. Exactly. Look for the leak. And technically, per the EPA, like you're not supposed to charge up a system that's knowingly leaking. You're supposed to make some kind of attempt to locate the leak. So that was I was getting at. And you're not wrong, Jason. I was just trying to throw something out there. And you're right. I shouldn't have used pressures. I should have gave like superheater subcooling. So it's a 410A system that is low on refrigerant by like, I don't know, a couple of pounds. I have one tech that, he's all about the electronic leak detector. I got another one that is a nitrogen leak search fucking maniac. And I'm like, hey, bro, like that thing was only a couple of pounds low. Uh, so Sam, the question I threw out there, I said, if you walk up to a 410A system and it's a little bit low on refrigerant. So if you had like normally we're trying to be, 120, 125, 130 as far as suction pressure. If you go up and it's like an 80 suction pressure and your head pressure is lower than normal, and say you got a 35 a superheat and you got a 3-degree subcooling. Maybe in refrigeration though, rookie, because the drains aren't that crazy. The reason I don't like the gallo guns is because, especially in attics, all it does is push the clog down further. And even with a gallo gun, I want guys pouring water down the drain, a gallon or more, and watching all that water escape. If you cannot see where it terminates, if you pour that much water down and it doesn't back up, then it's pretty safe to say that you cleared whatever the clog was. That's not true, rookie. You can charge 410. You don't got to pull the charge. Ding dong. Even though all the dumb stuff with this, vagina ass 454B. I hate that fucking refrigerant. Damn. So the question is, if you went up to a 410 system that was low on refrigerant, what would you do? Would you just charge it up and roll? Would you try to find the leak? Would you nitrogen leak search it? Would you do like seal or die, one of those avenues? Would you use an electronic leak detector? What would you do? That was the question, Sam. Oh damn! I just saw what you said, Jason. You made a video with a large using red Powerade. That's pretty slick. I like that idea. Exactly. And what customers need to know, and I mean, maybe your company's different, but any company I've ever worked for, managed, ran, owned, whatever, I do not warranty refrigerant. So it's like, hey, if I put 3 pounds of refrigerant in the system and that shit leaks out 2 days from now, well, sorry about your bad luck. And then I get these customers that are like, when you do go back, they're like, oh, well, since I spent $600 on refrigerant or whatever it is, um, can I get that off a new system? No, I'm not going to reward you for making the wrong decision. No, I'm not. And if you do, all you're doing is adding that money on to take it back off. I mean, we all understand how that shit works. 5 options, damn Sam. A little analysis paralysis. What would be the 5 options you would give them? I'm curious. Yeah, I agree, Froggy. I'm only doing nitrogen leak searches if it's flat or if it's like minimum amount of refrigerant. But I want to say this when people are doing nitrogen leak searches, and especially if you're going to do a nitrogen leak search and you're going to listen for the audible sound, but you're also going to try to use a leak detector. There has to be a little bit of refrigerant in there, fellas. All right. Your electronic leak detectors, whether it's a heated diode or a infrared one, they're sensing refrigerant, or the difference of, um, I've seen guys go out there with a electronic leak detector when there's not a drop of fucking refrigerant in it and like wondering why they can't find the leak. Because they're not made to find nitrogen. They're not made to find air. Gas and go, replace caps. Yeah, normally it is. No, you're right, Jason. An ultrasonic doesn't need refrigerant to work. I haven't used one in a little bit. What is the ultrasonic that is go to nowadays? I haven't used one in so long. My favorite one I used to use an R22 was the H10. I loved the H10. That's not ultrasonic, but I loved that leak detector back in the day. It was shit when a 410 came out, but for R22 leaks, that shit was awesome. Anybody out there still using one of the H10s? There you go, Sam. But that's not bad options. Not bad options. And giving customers options is not a problem. And if they choose the wrong decision, then that's fine. Then they have to live with those consequences. See, AccuTrack or Infocon has the whisper. Obviously, you guys know that I use all the Yellow Jacket stuff because being a sponsor. So I haven't tried some of the other ones, but what is? I think it's Infocon. What is the one that starts with an S? That's apparently out there. I've heard people rave about. I haven't used any other. We have a couple field piece ones that the guys have. That it's a pretty nice leak detector. I won't, I won't say anything, but I think it might be Infocon or one. I thought it started with an S. Just put leak lock on the threads. Although I'm sorry, and I'll see how you guys feel, but when somebody says they did a leak search and they're like, "Oh man, it wasn't the leak. I just I tightened the shraders." I've just found that normally that's not the leak. It's just not. That's just normally what I've found. Um, I get it. Sometimes valve stems can be a little bit, but normally when there's a leak, that's not always what it is. Stratus, thank you, Brian. Yes. Has anybody used the Stratus? Is that still good? Like I said, I haven't used a bunch of the other ones, so I don't know. What is up, Jeep Cherokee guy? Thank you for being here. I use Stratus. Do you use it inverted or up like this? How exactly? Never mind. Never mind. The Stratus. I'm trying to get Yellow Jacket to send me their infrared one so I can test that one out because I think the one that I have is a little bit older. I do have a video coming out using their new Y, J, and Rookie, so you guys know that I do have it. Because when you get that, it comes with the setup. It has 2 half-inch hoses that you connect to it. It's actually pretty sweet. I'm going to make a video using it here probably in the next week or so. But anybody who just came in, we are talking about the common problems HVAC techs are running into today. Like the dirty capacitor, the dirty filter, the bad capacitor, those kind of things, and talking about ways that make it easy to find and to fix. Just talk about some of those common problems. Also, if you're in a different side, if you're in the, commercial industrial, you can also bring those problems into the chat as well. Yeah, I agree with that, Brian. If it's flat, then I would be cool with that. I don't have an ultrasonic anymore. What ultrasonic are you using, Brian? Like I said last week, man, a lot of technicians don't let your pride, don't let your ego, stop you in this trade. All right. Don't be afraid to call tech support. Like one of the big things, and I want to go over this, and I really want to start making videos. I'm just trying to find the time to do it, to go over some of these technical things. Is so many technicians don't know how to work on mini splits. Like it's a lot. I've heard customers say, "Hey, I've called 7 companies, and they've told me that they don't work on them," and I'm like, "What? How the hell can a residential company not work on mini splits? That's crazy." Let's see. Put a comment. We got Mr. Jeep Cherokee guy up there. It says, just landed an HVAC technician job at a hospital. Took your advice and asking a lot of questions. Also showing up early to help out as a new guy. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome, brother. That is awesome. Congratulations. Infocom Whisper. Nice. Isn't that Infocom Whisper? Isn't that thing like $500, something like that? Although I believe in, if tools are worth it, I believe in that, paying for them. But I heard that some of those are pretty expensive. Oh, it's affordable. Well, give me a number, Brian. What's affordable? I'm poor, man. What's it like 150, 125? Yeah, right. It's one thing about tools, man. Tools have gotten more expensive. Things you used to be able to get, and some brands have gotten more expensive. And I won't throw that out there right now. But um, some guys were asking to buy things on a tool loan, so I went and bought them for them, and I was like, damn, that's how much this costs now. Like I don't remember paying that much when I got this stuff. You're like a fucking old man. And it's like the same thing. It's not even like an older version. Like I have the same exact one that they have, and I'm just like, I know that that's not what I paid for it. 350 is not bad. Jeep Cherokee guy, what kind of stuff do they got you working on? You working on like big, like chillers, or like more like residential style? At a hospital, it's going to be bigger stuff, correct? Yeah, damn, I never put this up there. If anybody wants to call in, the phone lines are open. Let me make sure this is connected. I do have a leak detector. I have several, but I'm a nice guy and I give all my shit away. But yes, I still have my yellow jacket leak detector, and I had a field piece one that I gave to somebody when I left Beltway. Yes. Okay. If my diaper gets a little wet, then I know that there's a leak. No, that's one thing that we do. So we do get leak detectors. So when I first got here, they were buying all field piece ones, which whatever. Stratus, that's the one. I knew one of them was expensive as shit. I wasn't sure. So the Stratus is like $1,200. Well, you're in California. Everything sucks in fucking California. Sorry. Um, let's see. Mr. Jeep Cherokee guy says common issue we are seeing a senior tech being frustrated at 454B. And yeah, cooling towers and ice machines, mainly changing belts. First day I helped change a chiller pump and a motor. Nice. What frustrations are they having with 454B? Not being able to get it, which that sucks, or is it working with the refrigerant? Like all the additional stuff, like the sensors you have to have, the dissipation sensors or mitigation boards, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Um, I'm curious to know, like, what are the senior techs frustrated by when it comes to 454B? I've already said this a million times on the show. I wish they just would have went to R32 and not DIN 454B, but that's neither here nor there. And then have the ability to just screw us this summer. Ugh. Your Tech Tools, man, like, and I don't mean this to be negative. I mean, obviously, I have an affiliation with them, even though my discount code went down from 8% to 6%, but everybody's did. Some of their prices went up, man. And I get it. Things are more expensive. You got to charge. But it's just like, I've been able to get a lot better deals from my local suppliers than I have going through any of those kind of options. That's just me personally. You know, I'll support people, and pay a little bit more if I need to because I support those companies, but I can't do that to my technicians with a tool loan. I almost got five. I almost got my tool bag filled up, man. Yeah, so Jeep Cherokee guy says sensors, tooling, not being able to get it. They also don't like how the units, it can take a while for the pressures to level out. I haven't had much of an issue with the pressures leveling out, but I do get the other stuff. But sadly, even if you're using R32, you're still going to have to do the sensors and all that kind of stuff. Most of those mitigation boards, at least in the residential, I have not seen any. Have any of you installed any like R32, R54B units when it comes to like commercial? I have not done one yet, so I don't know what all of that looks like. So I don't want to sit here and lie to you. But the ones in residential, once you get the hang of it, they're really not that difficult. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Besides my leak detectors, my depends. It's fine. I'll let you guys talk shit. Same thing about the tools we have and aren't A2L certified. Just so you know, Jeep Cherokee guy, that doesn't mean shit. You know, a lot of times all they're doing is taking the same tool and putting A2L certified. Apparently, when it comes to vacuum pumps, there is something legit about it. But as long as you don't have some like pump that's like old as shit, if it's somewhat newer, even if it doesn't say A2L certified, you're fine. See, Jason Johnson says, I've only seen an R32 chiller, so no mitigation sensor as no refrigerant is inside. Gotcha, gotcha. R54B compressors are shorting to ground after 45 days. Well, that's probably a shitty installation by you, rookie. 10-ton and 12.5-ton train RTUs. What refrigerant is in them, Brian Sanders? And how have they been? Is there mitigation sensors on them? Don't be sorry, man. Hey, we all got to start somewhere. That's why we're all here, brother. Don't ever be afraid to come in here and ask questions. There's a lot of knowledge in this chat, man. And we don't even have everybody in here tonight. But yeah, between residential, commercial, industrial stuff, you got a shit ton of knowledge in this chat right here, man. Yeah, that sucks. That's I know some people that work for hospitals, and some of them work for really good hospitals where like they really take care of them. But I also know some people that work on the other side, so that sucks. 454B and yes. All right, cool. Thank you, Brian. Oh, nice, 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 nice. Are any of you out there still putting your hands on? I guess this would be for the guys. No, I guess it could be for all of you. I was thinking mainly residential. Um, have any of you put your hands on R22 lately? And are you using any of the drop ins? I've just never been huge on any of those. I know some people prefer some of them, but I don't like going down that rabbit hole. So I just choose not to. Let's see. Mr. Nasty says, I put a 454B mini split in on Monday. They didn't have room on the breaker panel, so I double tapped the line side of the panel. Ah, you fucking hack. What is wrong? Mr. East Coast, what is up, my man? Yeah, I saw Krause's video. I think 454B is a shitty refrigerant. I really wish that we wouldn't have used it. So Jeep Cherokee guy says, I had one company say I wasn't a true HVAC tech because we do more PMs than anything. Our badges say HVAC technician. He got pissed about it. Any advice on how to handle that? Dude, tell that guy to suck your left testicle, bro. Um, so what? You're doing what you're asked to do. And everybody has to start somewhere. To be honest, the advice I would do is I wouldn't pay those people no mind. And knowing how to properly maintain a system is kind of the first step of growth. You got to understand how it's supposed to operate, what it's supposed to do in order to be able to fix it. What's that, Froggy? You said, yes, I'm in time zone 22, still strong. I don't know if I'm retarded or what. I'm not, I don't understand what you're saying. Yes, I have a put system at a high school that I put 75 pounds of R22. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. I have a couple. I have a couple friends. They don't always text me back, but sometimes they do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jay. Like, yeah, fuck that dude. Um, I'm just gonna say Jeep guy. Sorry, I'm lazy. So if I say Jeep guy, I'm referring to you, Jeep Cherokee guy. Or if I just say, hey guy, yeah, man. Don't worry about those people, man. Sadly, there's people in the trades and people in this world that, got to build their fucking ego and try to put somebody else down. They think that makes them better at what they do. It's stupid. Yeah, I've 422B. There was that 427 something that they actually discontinued around here. It was used in refrigeration. It used to be pretty nice with R22 because you could actually mix that in there and it wasn't a problem. Do I even have your phone number, Nasty? I'm horrible at getting back to people. Shut your mouth, rookie. Me and you do text. Fucking liar. Go ahead. I'll put the camera up and show everybody that picture you sent me of your balls or something like that. You were like, hey, what's this? What's this thing growing on my balls? And I was like, I don't know, man. You should get that checked out. He does sound like Captain Douchebag. He's probably the same guy that wears long sleeve shirts in the summertime, show off all his Nate patches, all of his Nate certifications. When I see those guys in the supply house, I can't help but laugh. If I had it, I would call, okay? I would text. I would send you random texts in the day, motivational speeches. Yourself. Every day is a good day. All that kind of dumb shit. I don't know how you guys are feeling about the Saturdays. I think I do want to try to get back to the Wednesdays. Just trying to get the schedule down. But I do think I found another house. Sadly, I'm going to rent this one. I'm not going to buy after this. Um, I'm going to wait a little bit just because I don't want to rush into buying something again. But it's going to save me a ride. I'll be closer back towards Baltimore. So went and did that today. Looked at some houses. So it's working out. Trying to get all this shit figured out, man. Shut up, rookie. No, he wasn't. Yes. And I'm not a captain. I'm a general. Ah, duh. Not anymore. Nate certification is not worth it, man. It used to be cool to have it, but then they wanted to keep charging you money and you got to go back and redo the shit every fucking couple of years and all this kind of stuff. And it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the company. So yeah, man, I wouldn't worry about it. If there is, what state are you in, Jeep Cherokee guy? Because if you have licensing, like in Maryland, we have apprentice, journeyman, master. Like I would definitely try to get that kind of stuff. Um, it's good to have that stuff under your belt to start your time. But yeah, Nate certifications. I had every Nate certification when I worked years ago at the company Supreme. But when I left, apparently those Nate certifications stayed with the company or some shit like that. It was something. Or no, 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 no. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. That was my carrier certifications. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I took all the carrier certifications in their class, and I took every single one of them. Like I could have been like an instructor, but when I left, those stayed with the company. That's what it was. Stop doing Nate because yeah, they were trying to suck my wallet dry. I'm gonna put this one up there because Froggy's 100% right. This Jeep guy doesn't matter. PMs are essential, and a tech you are way more about the unit than a cocky tech who thinks he knows everything. When PM unit, pay attention. Where is that? Read the manual. Take temps. Take amps, temps, and I don't know what it is. Oh, and when it comes to you getting a calls on the unit, you'll run circles. Amen. I agree with that. Master the basics, brother. That's what I tell people when they're learning. Master the basics. Know how to use your meter, how to check for voltage, to know where the high voltage, low voltage is. Jesus. The refrigeration cycle, exactly what the refrigerant is doing. Ohms, all that kind of stuff. If you can, do all that kind of stuff, you can master the rest of it, man. You have a solid foundation to build off of. Oh, Texas. All right. Well, you guys don't have any licensing then. Well, I guess depending on if you work on ice machines, you can get ice machine certifications, take some of those classes. If you have any manufacturers of like units, like rooftops and stuff that you're working on, see if you can take some of those classes. Sometimes you can get certifications for doing that. and know where the closest bathrooms are. Yeah. Don't be that guy shitting in buckets. That's like premeditated. You can't do that. Hey, we all get caught sometimes where you got to shit in weird places and stuff like that, pissing on the side of a roof, whatever. But I'm sorry, man. I've seen some of the people that have like the hunting style bucket in the back of the truck with the toilet seat. And I'm like, bro, that's like premeditated murder. Mr. Jason Johnson says we have a high 460 volt controls, 120 volt and 24 volt for all the controllers and digital inputs and outputs. I remember those days. Haven't done that in a while. There you go. Just go to any training that they'll give you, Jeep Cherokee guy, and then just watch videos, man. Do stuff on your own, and yeah, don't ever be afraid to ask questions, man. Like I said, if you ever come in here, I'm gonna get back to doing some live streams where I'm not really worried about the audio. But where other people will come in and yeah, don't ever be afraid to ask questions, brother. We all started somewhere. And especially in here. I mean, just in here, you got, Jesus, what, 200 plus years of experience. I don't know. Probably more than that because rookie's old as fuck. Just kidding, rookie. I'm just kidding. That's amen to that, Jason. Only dumb question is the one not asked. Brian said, or a cinder block on the roof. And Froggy said, damn, Brian, you just left a cinder block on the roof. You need some fiber. That's hilarious. What do you think about my Ravens picking up Jair Alexander, Jay? Hopefully he works out and he's the one that used to be good, which I think he will be because he can make money, but not to go off HVAC and talk football. I'm just curious to what you think about it. You have experience, you liar. Don't you say that. Damn, fellas, it is almost at an hour. You did. But then you lost the week after, so it doesn't matter. If you won the Super Bowl, you can talk shit, but it's fine. It's fine. You just lasted one more week. Nah, but it's the truth though. When it comes to the Ravens, I don't even say shit no more. I think we have a good team, but until we can do something in the playoffs, I mean, it is what it is. Oh, you shut your mouth, rookie. I will disown you. But I mean, the same shit they say about Lamar Jackson, they say about Josh Allen, though. They're not shit until they win a Super Bowl. Which I get it. One of the best quarterbacks to have the most prettiest ball you've ever seen throwing a football was Dan Marino. Never had a Super Bowl. I mean, I like to see both of them get it because I think they're two young, amazing quarterbacks. But I mean, that's kind of the narrative right now. Until they win a Super Bowl, nobody's going to shut up. And when they do, there's just going to be something else. You know, he is lying. Digital gauges are good, man. I've never heard of Elitech. So has anybody else ever heard of them? Aren't they both NFC teams? How the hell are they going to be in the Super Bowl, Nasty? Yeah, I don't think that can happen. That would be an NFC championship. LOL. Am I wrong though? Aren't the Niners and the Vikings both NFC teams? Very true. Even though the sad part is people keep bitching about like, and I do say this, I do think Lamar should have won it last year, but then I say this, one of the other years, I think Josh should have won and not Lamar. So it works itself out. It's not a big deal. That's what I thought. I was like, hold on a second. That couldn't be a Super Bowl. I'm from Maryland, man. We know crab cakes and football. Even though I'm paying like I paid like $100 for the year to be able to watch the O's games, even though the O's suck ass this year. Yeah, I agree. So that's why I don't say anything about it because I just think they flip flopped it. So they both should have one anyway. I got you, Nasty. He said I shouldn't believe 63% of things that come out of his mouth. Yeah, no, Rookies is right, man. I'm gonna start closing this thing out, man. Um, yeah, just inner city Baltimore. Hey, sadly, Baltimore does suck, but it's my home. And grew up, born and raised. There's some beautiful parts of it. There's some disgusting pieces of shit parts of it as well. I just think it's funny when the tourists come and they're around like the harbor and then they want to mosey out and wonder why they never come back. I'm like, yeah, that's why. That's why. And it's funny that we have these benches. Next time I drive through the city, I'm gonna take a video of it and I'll put it on Instagram. But it says the city that reads. We have like the worst like school reading numbers like in the country. So I think that's funny. And then there's a couple of them where it's spelled wrong. So when you ride by and it says the city that reads, it's just kind of ironically funny, even though it's really sad. Baltimore City schools were just passing kids. They had kids graduating that could read at like a third grade level. They never should have graduated high school. And we wonder why these kids are doing what they're doing. Well, that's because they're being set up to fail. But that's a whole other podcast. I won't get into that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate all the normal people that are here. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Love seeing the new people. Jeep Cherokee guy, thank you so much for being here. I normally do not do these on Saturday nights. Normally I do it Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But because of summer and the business that I am running, we are busy as hell right now. So I'm doing a podcast. It's either if it's not Wednesday, it's probably going to be Saturday night. So if you do not see anything pop up for Wednesday night, just know I'll be here Saturday night. And then obviously if you want to listen to the audio of said show, it will be out on Monday. Huh. Literacy, yes. Shut your mouth, rookie. Make the trade great by keeping me off job sites. Hey, we can have a little test, man. You know what I mean? And get units so you can fix some more stuff. What's up, bitch? Yeah. What's up, East Coast? I forgot you were in here, man. I saw you up there earlier. You haven't been commenting. You don't love me tonight, man? What's wrong, huh? You come in, you don't even talk to me, you don't even comment until the end. No, I'm just kidding, man. I know it's Saturday night, but I will start to close this out. Please make sure that you like and follow the podcast and all the social media sites. Pretty much it's going to be YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Really, Facebook, it's just the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I have my group, HVAC Uncensored Nation, but to be honest, enter that motherfucker at your own risk. I don't even go in my own group. That's turned into a total shit show. But I use it for advertisements. That's about it. But with that being said, I will close this out. Guys, remember to keep your head on a swivel when you're driving, man. Please just be careful. We live in a crazy, crazy world nowadays, all right? Get off your phone. Pay attention. Make sure the breaker's turned off. You know, all those little things. I want each and every one of you to make it home the same way that you left, all right? Do the little things. Set yourself apart from the next guy or girl, all right? Keep trying to better yourself. Never, ever stop learning. I don't care whether it's read a book, an audiobook, a podcast, an online course, whatever it is, keep trying to be the best version of yourself and give back. You may be new, but you know more than somebody else. Okay. If you're new, ask those questions. Like I said, ask and ask and ask wherever it is. You will finally get the answer. Use that online. There's the answers to all kind of stuff. You can sit there and learn stuff. You run into a problem that day, look it up online. I guarantee you'll find a video explaining just that. All right. Or bring it here. Ask. Like I said, all the knowledge you have in this group, somebody will know the answer to that question. All right. Learn. And then just be a good person, man. You put out positivity, you get positivity back. All right. Just give a shit about other people. All right. I always say that. You see somebody that you notice they're a little off, go up and say something to them. Hey, man, I notice you're a little off. You never know that might be life changing for that person. All right. June is actually men's mental awareness month. So make sure you're talking to people. As somebody who has suffered with, anxiety, depression, all those things, a greater part of my life, no matter how much money I've made, how much success I've had, I've still always had those. So something that I always feel it's near and dear to my heart, that and also with the drug addiction stuff. So make sure we're talking to people, checking on people, calling friends, because a lot of people are suffering through that stuff and you would never, ever know. All right. With that being said, man, I love you, mofos. Till next week. I'll talk to you later. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.